Hello, Higher Ground community. It is Marissa Biondolillo here in Buffalo, and I'm going to do a mindful movement sequence today. It's going to be a completely seated practice. All I am using as props are a simple dining chair or two. That chair is just going to be used as something to rest our hands on, so if you have a table in front of you, that'll work just as well. But I have no table, so I've got two chairs. I recommend, if you're following along, I recommend a chair with a nice flat seat that has no arms and does not swivel. So if you need to get those items together, go ahead, give this a pause, and join us in a minute. And without further ado, let's get started. Okay. So bring yourself to your seat in body and mind. Try to tune in to the sensations of sitting down. Notice where you feel your weight. You feel your weight kind of hitting the seat of the chair. You feel gravity taking hold and bringing your feet to the floor. Oh. Just give yourself a little moment to settle in, to feel your body from the inside out, and allow yourself, both physically and mentally, to simply be here, to simply do this practice and nothing else for the next half hour or so. Perhaps do a quick scan of your body, just noticing from within your body, from head to toe. And if you feel areas of tightness or strain, try to be gentle with them and gentle with yourself about them. Everybody's body has different pains and tightness areas, and it's simply a part of being human, being here. And so we try to be gentle and accepting with those areas. Perhaps send a little breath, a little care and intention towards those areas. And then I invite you to bring your attention towards your breathing. You might notice how your body moves with the breath. Where do you notice it? Do you notice perhaps the cool air coming in through the nostrils? Perhaps you notice the expansion in your chest or belly. Perhaps you notice the pace of your breath. Is it shallow, quick, uneven, or is it deep? If it's deep, try to make sure that you're not pressing it too hard. We don't want to take the deepest breaths we've ever had in our lives, because that's not something that we can maintain throughout the practice. So let's all of us try to find a nice rhythm of breathing that is smooth and even, so the inhales and exhales are of roughly equal length. And it's a deep breath, but not one that forces you to strain in any way. Maybe it's a soothing exercise for you to count your breath. Notice how many counts you take to inhale and then match that as you exhale. And notice as you breathe these smooth, even breaths, if your shoulders are coming up, creeping up towards your ears as you inhale. See if you are able to keep your shoulders down, away from your ears, and invite the breath into your belly. It might help to put a hand on the belly so you can feel that motion. As you inhale, the belly moves forward, and as you exhale, the belly gently releases back to a neutral spine. And try to maintain that breath as we start to incorporate movement and intention into our bodies. First, engaging a sense of lengthening. So feel your feet on the floor and press down through your feet. And then release it. And maybe try to sync this up with your breathing. So as you exhale, press down through your feet. Feel that engagement in your core. And as you inhale, gently release the pressure in your feet, allowing the breath to just fill naturally through your middle. And do that a couple of times. Exhaling, pushing down. Inhaling. Release and let the body expand. And now just let out a nice deep exhale. Whew, let it all go. I like to do a lot of wiggling in my yoga, my mindful movement, because I find that it helps us to not take ourselves so seriously. So when we release something that required a lot of intention and kind of effort, I like to just wiggle it out. So now that we've engaged and a little bit woken up the lower half of our bodies, we're going to do the same for our upper half. So as we inhale, we're going to reach the arms up overhead. Exhale, bring the arms down by your sides. We'll do this a few times. Really feel through your fingertips as you reach out and away from center. And exhale, come down. And once you get a grasp of the motions that I'm going through and how I'm syncing it with my breath, inhaling up, exhaling down, feel free to go at a different pace from me. If you're doing this with your family, feel free to go at a different pace from them. This is all about having time to yourself with your body and asking your body how it needs to stretch, how it needs to move. So maybe your arms don't quite get over your head. Maybe you only get here, and that's where it stops feeling good. Then that's where the practice is for you. And that's great. Because if we try to go all the way up here and it hurts our shoulders, then that's hurting us. That's not helping our bodies to heal and gain calm, which is what we're here to do. So wheel that out. And now we're going to go back into our upper bodies, but we're going to get a little bit more into the side bodies. So take a nice deep inhale, reach the arms up overhead, however far you get. And then reach one hand up at a time. Going a little bit farther, reaching, getting a little bit deeper that stretch. As I reach up, I really feel it open up through the side body here. And what I'm doing, you can't see my hand, but I'm reaching up and I'm making a fist and I'm pulling that fist down, and it's almost like I'm climbing an enormous ladder, which is a nice image for me. I like that image of climbing up and reaching for whatever's next. All right. Let that be your last one. Wiggle out your arms. Wiggle out your shoulders. And let's get a little bit more deep into the shoulders. So feel where your shoulders are naturally. And then on an inhale, bring them forward, up towards your ears. Pinch the shoulder blades together in the back, and then come down. Make these really big circles. So we inhale, the shoulders forward and up. And exhale as they reach back and down. And I used the word pinch earlier, but that probably wasn't the best word to use, because if we feel a pinch feeling in our body, that generally means that we should back off a little bit, right? So take the shoulder blades together in the back, same thing, inhaling as they come up, exhaling as we switch directions, bring the shoulders forward and down. And let that be your last one. Whew, wheel out those shoulders. All right, and we'll bring that same kind of intention and breath work into our neck. So feel your neck at rest, at center, and get a sense of where the center is. So really feel the crown of your head, and that's almost like an axis. So we're going to maintain that center point through the middle. We're going to inhale, and then we're going to rotate the chin over our shoulder, looking to the side. Exhaling as we go to the side. Inhaling as we come to the center. Exhaling as we go to the other side, even it out. Inhaling as you come to center. And let's do that one more time on each side. Exhaling to the side. Inhaling to the center. Again, at whatever pace feels comfortable for you. And as we come to the center this last time, take a nice big inhale, a nice big exhale. And the next inhale, stay center, and then tilt the ear towards the shoulder, tilting to the side with the neck. Exhale, inhale to center. Exhale, ear to the other shoulder, and be very, very gentle with yourself. What might look like a tiny stretch can do wonders for the neck, the upper back, the shoulders. We carry so much tension in these muscles here. So be very gentle, trying to stretch them out. And inhale back to center one last time. And you know me, wiggle it out. All right. So now I'd like to get into the shoulders a little bit more dynamically. If you have a high-backed chair, be careful here, because we're going to do some shoulder swings, some arm swings here, side to side. I already whacked my own chair, so try to be careful. Oh, there we go. A nice slow pace will prevent you from whacking your wrist into the back of the chair behind you. And let the arms go down by your sides. And we're going to do some forward and back arm swings. Again, you might hit the chair, so be gentle. And you might test out if you go back with your elbows. Does that put you at a lower risk of hitting the back of your chair? Or maybe even, oh, here's an innovation. Go to the side. Oh, so this really helps to open up the chest and the upper back, which we so often do so much slouching at our computers all day. So stretches that intentionally open this up are going to be really helpful for us. Whew, all right, and come on back to center. Find your neutral stance again. And this one's a really weird one, but follow me here. We're going to try to do some rib circles. And this is an area of the body that most people don't think about moving all the time, so it tends to get really, really stiff. And with our range of motion, if we don't use it, we lose it. So we're trying to invite that range of motion back into this area. So what I'm doing is I'm reaching my ribs forward, and then I'm pushing my ribs to the side. And I'm sending my ribs back, kind of an arch in my back that's intentional, but then I move to the other side and forward. So I try to kind of hit these points, and then if I'm able to do that, I might try to kind of smooth it out. Whew. I'll give you an idea of what this looks like from the side. You can kind of see my back goes back, my ribs reach back, and then they come forward. And then try to take this in the other direction. So reach forward to the other side, send the ribs back to the other side and forward. And if you're able to smooth it out, go ahead and give that a shot. And if you're like, oh my God, my body doesn't move like that, you're in the majority of the population. This is a really, really, really hard one to do. So thank you for joining me on this adventure. Okay, and let that one go. Whew. All right, and we're going to do a seated half sun salutation. So this requires a little bit of coordination between movement and breath, and I'll actually show you. We're going to get into the back a little bit, and the angle of the back is pretty important. So I want you to just watch the first one that I do, so you get where you're headed. So the sequence that we're going to do is inhaling the arms up overhead, inhale, and then we're going to fold over our legs. And then we come halfway up, so you see my back is now in a straight line, crown to tailbone. This is our halfway up. We inhale to here, exhale, folding all the way forward again, and then we inhale, reaching the arms out, and kind of back to this neutral place. So to review, that's we inhale up, exhale, folding all the way over, inhale halfway up, exhale all the way over, and then we come all the way back up to this neutral place. The basic rule, inhale up, exhale down. So let's do this together. Actually, before we do, I just want to check, everybody make sure that you have your knees just about right over your ankles here. If we have them back here, you might end up straining your knees, so we don't want to do that. We want them right below the knees, so we got kind of right angles here. Okay. So find your center, check back in with your breathing, and let's begin. Inhale, reaching the arms out, stretching up. Exhale, fold all the way forward, however far you get. Inhale, lift the head halfway up. Nice flat back. Exhale, all the way over. And then we inhale, reaching the arms out and up. And exhale, back to neutral. Now again, let's cycle through. Inhaling the arms up. Exhale, fold in half over the knees. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, fold over the knees. And reach out and up, all the way up. Inhale. Back to center. And this will be our last one. Inhale, all the way up, maybe slight curve, slight back bend here. Exhale, over. Inhale, halfway up. Exhale, all the way over. And one last time, reaching up. Inhaling to center. And you might take a moment here to just breathe and just be present. That was a lot of movement we did. It's a big exercise for your lower back if you're not used to that type of thing. And while we're taking this small pause in the practice, this is why I have this chair in front of me. We're going to do a nice stretch for the back. If you have a chair or table in front of you, that'll work too. Reach the arms forward towards the table or the back of the chair. And then we're going to do kind of an extended flat back pose. So you see from my fingertips, my wrists to my hips is basically a straight line. And this really helps to release in the shoulders and the back. And you might not be able to get down this far, and that might mean that you bring the chair a little closer, and maybe you just go here. This is a wonderful pose. You can stay in it. I'm just lifting my head to talk to you. This is a wonderful, wonderful pose for releasing tension in the back. And especially right now when we all do so much sitting, it's really good to lengthen the back, like you can see. I'm kind of pushing my crown this way and pulling my tailbone this way. So my seat reaches down and back and my head reaches up and forward. Lengthening through the spine. Okay. And then bring your back upright. Whew. That was fun, huh? Okay. And we're going to work into our lower body a little bit more. So, what I'd like to do, I'm going to move this to the side a little bit more. Definitely make sure you bring your bottom to the front of the chair seat. And we're going to send one leg out to the side, like this. So I'm still seated in the chair, but maybe actually it helps if you come to the side of the chair a little bit. That way this leg is nice and firmly planted and grounded down on the chair. I still have that right angle in my knee. So half of my body looks like I'm just sitting straight up, right? But then I've got this leg stretching out to the side. And if you can see, my toe is pointing towards the front, pointing forward. So this is where we begin. This is already probably a pretty decent stretch for a lot of people. So if you want to just stay here, feel grounded into the core and just breathe into that stretch, you're welcome to do that. And if you feel like you'd want a little bit more stretch, I invite you to take your arms up overhead, take a nice deep inhale, and exhale towards the straight leg, reaching out to the side. And this arm doesn't have to go like all the way over here. It can just be up, it can be a little bit tilted, but this is really intensifying that stretch in the side body and helping to get a little bit deeper into this lunge as well. And we're just going to take a few breaths here to let the body open up. And on your next inhale, come on back to center with the upper body. Exhale in neutral. And then really find the seat with your other hand, because we're going to support ourselves with this. And we're going to reach this arm up and over and lengthen this way out. So best case scenario, you've got kind of a straight line from your fingertips to that back heel. And I just caught myself. I'm letting my shoulder come a little bit too far forward here. You still want to keep the shoulder nice and in alignment with your back, so you don't over-rotate it or anything. And this is a really nice, deep side stretch. If you're super flexible, maybe you want to even come down a little bit farther. Oh my goodness, that's a stretch. Okay, and on your next inhale, reach the upper body back to center. Oh, wowza. All right, so that's a deep stretch. What I'd like to do now is just kind of do a little back and forth between these two poses. Reaching to the side, similar to what we did before with kind of grabbing for the next rung of the ladder. And the next time you go the long way, away from the straight leg, hold out there for a second. And then I invite you to scooch the long leg heel back about an inch. You see what I did there? So the leg that's long, I just moved it back towards the wall behind me. And then with this upper arm, I'm going to also reach it back. And this way, I'm opening the shoulder up. And I'm doing like a whole body opening back bend. And you're probably not this low if you don't do yoga all the time, so you might just be up here and it might just kind of look like this. But if that heel is back, it's really helping to open up that joint, which is crunched all day because we usually spend all day sitting. So this is a really great stretch to open up that hip. And then let that arm go. Come on back to center. Pull that leg back in. Oh, you did so good. Oh, find a neutral position. Whew. We are moving and grooving, opening these bodies up. But as you have probably guessed, in all things yoga, we seek balance. So we're going to do the same thing on the other side. Find your grounding on the other side. Feel into your core. This is all still nice and sturdy, the way we did at the beginning when we were just breathing and pushing our leg down. This is all still engaged right in the center. And then take the other foot out. This is right parallel aligned with my body, toes pointing forward. And then take a nice inhale, reaching the arms up to the sides, overhead, and then exhale towards the straight leg. However far you get into this stretch, you could be right here and it could feel amazing. It could be a wonderful deep stretch for you. And that's where your practice is. I'm going to try to not put my hand right on this knee joint, because then I might be putting tension there where it doesn't belong. So I'm going to rest my hand on my thigh here. Keeping that shoulder away from the ear. And come on down. Sounded like The Price is Right. Now we're going to even this out for that nice long side body stretch. Inhale that arm out to the side, up overhead, having my support underneath me. I reach for this side stretch. And you might find that one side of your body is way tighter than the other. That's just something to notice. That's usually the case with most people's bodies, is that they do not quite feel symmetrical. Reaching out and over. And on my next inhale, I'm going to reach out and up and bring my upper body back to the center. Fabulous. Now we're going to do that same side to side, movement oriented. Oh yeah, we're getting in here. And the next time you go all the way over to this side, take that long leg heel, scooch it about 1 inch back, and then open up the shoulders. So I'm rotating my shoulders and reaching, kind of facing the ceiling almost, or up on the diagonal. So I've got this big back bend, this really big stretch on half my body, evening it out. And then I come on back to neutral, rotating that arm in, bringing the upper body back to neutral, drawing that leg in from the side. Whew, do you guys feel energized? I definitely feel that that one gives me a lot of energy. So we reground in the middle, find our seat, find that sense of length, top to bottom, reaching. My whole body is engaged. Now we're going to do some gentle twisting. So again, inhale, we keep the spine nice and neutral. Exhale, we rotate a little bit to the side. So I'm going to reach my right hand to my left knee and my left hand behind me. And let's inhale, come back to neutral. Exhale, we're going to take other hand to opposite knee, reach the other arm back. And inhale to neutral. So we're going to go back and forth between these two spaces. So exhaling to the side, inhaling to the center, exhaling, twisting to the other side. And I encourage you to think about being very gentle with this. You don't really have to go too deep for this to make a difference to your back and to your hips as well, and shoulders. This is really a full body engagement. And go at whatever pace feels good for you. Go as deep into the stretch as feels good for you. This is a really easy one to strain on. People always want to just rip their shoulders back to face the back edge of the chair. But if you go too hard, too fast, it's definitely how people injure themselves. So I encourage you to just really listen to your body and only go as far as where you can still feel some ease in the stretch. And now this next one, inhale to center and cross one knee over the other. You might bring the grounded foot more center right in front of you and cross the other leg in front of you. And if this is not accessible for you, it's another reason why we have the chair. You can bring it up and over like this. So cross one leg over, and then the opposite hand. So right now I have my left leg crossed over my right leg. I'm going to take my right hand, reach it towards that top knee. So this gets the twist a little bit more into the hip area, but it's the same concept. I'm still grounded through my core, inhaling as my torso is center, and I exhale as I reach to the side. And here we're going to stay on the side for a few breaths. And even though we are relatively still here, I invite you to still imagine that sense of internal engagement where I'm inhaling center and I exhale. Maybe I release farther into the twist. But only if it feels like that's what your body is inviting you to do. And then come on, inhale back through center. Exhale, uncross the legs. And switch the legs, of course. Gotta balance it out. And now I'm feeling that center has changed. Rotating on a different axis. I cross the opposite leg, reach the opposite arm towards it. And I stay here for a little while. And check in with your shoulders that they haven't crept up towards your ears during this. You still want to keep them a little bit low. We want to feel, even as we stretch, that there is room for ease. And we're always remembering to breathe. And exhale. One last time there in the stretch, and inhale, come back to center. Uncross the legs, maybe have a little wiggle. And if you still have that table or chair, whatever, nearby, this is another time to do that stretch where you reach towards the chair, lengthening through the back. And just take a few resting breaths here. Gently lift the upper body back to neutral. And we're going to get a little bit deeper into the hips. So I'm taking my left leg across my right knee. And if this already isn't accessible for you, this is another time for the chair. Maybe it's out here. Maybe it's a little bit in front of you. What we're trying to get is that rotation from the hip joint. So the hip rotates out. If you can cross it and bring it over the opposite leg, that's great. And if not, that's why we've got props. Okay. Everybody's body is different. So this right here might be plenty of stretch for you. It's definitely an area that most people feel a lot of tightness and tension in, this upper hip. So you might just stay here and breathe through this stretch. And if you'd like to take it deeper, what you can do is fold the back forward. Like how we did the flat back before, and my back is still in a nice straight line, like a lever, closing this way. I'm not collapsing in my shoulders, but just tilting forward. And this increases the stretch in my hip. It's also going to reduce any pain in the low back that we often get from sitting too much. And we're just going to stay here and breathe. I do have the foot on my top leg flexed. This helps to keep everything in the knee in proper alignment, so check that you have that top foot flexed. And on your next inhale, reach the upper body up. Gently uncross that leg. Maybe give the hip a little wiggle. Actually, if you have your pelvis really towards the front of your chair, now what we can do is take the hips, the feet a little wider than hip width distance apart, and just kind of rock them, the knees side to side. This is a really great one for relieving tension in the hips, opening them up. And we'll do that same stretch now on the other side. So I plant my feet down. Yeah, this one's got its right angle in the knee. Take my other foot, cross it over. I can already tell this hip is way more tight for me. That's just where my body is today. So I feel that grounding in my body. I bring my attention to that stretch that's happening. I send my breath to that area that's stretching. And if I want to intensify it, I just tilt my back forward ever so slightly. And this is as far as I'm going to go today. But you go however deep or however shallow into this stretch feels good for you. And simply breathe. As I'm stretching my hip, I'm still sending my pelvis down towards the chair, my crown up at that diagonal. I'm engaged through the core, through the back, and the hip and legs. Doesn't look like much, but the whole body is active. And on the next inhale, bring the upper body up, gently uncross that leg, and take your knees from side to side here. Then our last stretch we'll do with the legs involves just taking the knee and clutching it in. Clutch that knee in towards the center. You might not get this far. And also, if you have pain in your knee, I recommend grabbing underneath the knee. And it might just get to here, and that's where it's going to be. But what it's about is still feeling that engagement in the core, and then just drawing that hip in, inviting some flexibility into this area, feeling wherever that stretch is for you. And as I let my leg go, return to the floor, I'm actually going to follow it. I'm going to let the leg go, and I'm going to follow it with my back, and I'm going to do a little forward fold here. You might really feel some opening up in the lower back here. And as I bring my upper body up, I'm going to bring my opposite leg with me. Again, holding underneath the knee if you have any knee troubles. I feel engaged, my core still feels strong, my back still feels straight, but I just clutch this leg in towards the center. And let that leg go back to neutral. One last time before we end, I invite you to find that comfortable flat back stance. Maybe it was here for you. Maybe you let the chair be out wide and it's out here. But wherever you can feel a nice releasing and lengthening in the spine, I invite you to take a few resting breaths in that area. And at your own pace, come on back to neutral. Feel your grounding in this space through the chair, through your feet, and a gentle lift up through the crown, through the shoulder collarbones. And we'll just do a little closing body scan. If you like, you can also do this part of the practice laying down. We're going to start by keeping the intention in our heads, the very crown, very tip top of the head. See if you can feel this area from the inside out, and that sensation of lifting and connection through the crown, lifting up. And bring that awareness from your crown down through the face, lifting, releasing rather, the forehead, the jaw, your cheeks, letting the tongue unstick from the roof of your mouth. Continuing down through the neck, the collarbones, the shoulders, inviting in a sense of relief. Continuing your attention down through the upper arms, the lower arms, and through each individual fingertip. That can be really, really hard to do, but give it a shot. See about feeling your hands from the inside out. And continuing your body scan back up the arms to move down through the torso, the upper chest, the upper back, through the belly, stomach, abdomen, down through the hips and pelvis, further down across the thighs, over the knees, the shins and calves, all the way into your feet, and, if possible, each individual toe. And with your whole body engaged in your awareness, see if you can check back in with your breath. And imagine with me that as you inhale, that fresh air and oxygen doesn't just stop at your lungs, but reaches all the way through your body, through the crown, the fingertips and toes. That inhale spreads across the entirety of you. And as you exhale, it releases effortlessly, flowing back like a wave returning to the ocean, effortless. You might imagine that the breath brings in that which nourishes you, and the exhale releases that which no longer serves you. Wonderful. And I invite you to bring that attention back from the feet, back through the calves and shins, across the knees, the upper legs, the hips, the torso, back through the arms, all the way back to the crown of your head. And gently begin to reintroduce movement into your body, perhaps wiggling the fingers and toes, maybe rotating the neck a little bit, maybe wiggling the arms and legs. And gently, if your eyes were closed, open them back up. That's our practice. Thank you so much for viewing this today. I hope that it was helpful to you. I hope your body feels rejuvenated. Know that anything that we did today, you can do on your own, especially if you're on the computer all day. We didn't even get out of the chair. So I hope that this was helpful, and I just thank you so much. Thanks to Trey for inviting me to do this for you guys. I hope you have a lovely day. Thank you.